We did have beer and pizza for the purpose. And I would thank the gentleman who's responsible for that, but he'll be back in a minute. I'll do it then. One thing that I haven't been doing in the past, I'm going to be starting again, and again, those of you who haven't been coming to this show consistently, this would be entirely lost on you. But my name's John Henderson, and I'm the guy that Gordon Walton trusts enough to stand up here while he can sit in the back and drink beer. Yeah, thanks Gordon for buying the beer and pizza for tonight. We shall not starve, and you'll probably have a lot of leftovers to take back. Yep. Or someone will. I don't know if you will, but so Kyle Ranfeld, stand up. Yes. Again, speaking of things that people could be doing anytime during the day, it's Kyle's birthday. Everyone say happy birthday, Kyle. Stand up. Keep standing up. Have you found a job yet? Because you haven't been in Austin that much.
Yeah. Sort of got it.
Okay. So you're going to be my guinea pig because we're going to do this for people. So, say your full name again.
I'm Kyle Reinfeld.
Okay. What do you do?
I'm a gameplay developer and a designer. Everybody's a designer in some respects.
Yep. Do you have a website?
I do.
What is it?
It's cadmiumlab.com.
Do you have business cards?
I don't have them with me.
Okay. What the hell's wrong with you? Consider yourself chided.
But,
Next time, bring
that
them.
website will get you.
Very good. Cadmium Labs, Kyle Reinfeld. Okay.
Lab.
Cadmium Labs. Very good.
You just write it down.
Cadmium Labs. All right. So you notice how little time that took. If you don't go on forever and tell us your life story, you can pretty much do it in 30 seconds. Does anyone else want to present themselves for judgment? Like you need a job. Okay.
I am Soren Deal, and I'm a college student actually, and I'm just looking for an internship. I don't really have a path yet, so and I got a website for these guys.
Okay. It's really important to do this because it is a networking event. But anyway, Josh.
My name is Josh Whitaker. I was an IGDA chapter founder, and I met John, and then came down and met him at PAX, and met him. I've been kind of networking a little bit. I just moved here on the 15th, but I'm a 3D artist. I do pipeline sculpting, modeling. And I got my first job offer today.
Excellent.
For that art bar point I was telling you about.
Very good.
They called me today.
So move fast.
Yes. Hustle. It's important.
My name is Casey Keene. I'm a programmer and I'm looking for a job.
Website?
CaseyKeenDev.com.
Do you have business cards?
No.
Okay. It's really important to do that, and they're actually relatively cheap too. So even if it's just something with your name and your LinkedIn profile, will count a lot for people. Anyone on this side?
My name's Kim. I do have a website, kimpreston.com. I'm a concept artist and 2D artist. And I've been living in Austin for almost a year, but I haven't been coming to enough of this stuff, so here I am. I do have business cards too.
Very good, welcome. Anyone else on this side of the room? Or?
I just wanted to make an announcement.
Yes.
So I work here at Capital Factory to help out with the VR lab, and I wrote something on the board up there, and we'd love to get the gaming community involved with our VR lab. So if you want a 1 hour tour, just hang out and try all of our systems. The red is the link. Thank you. You can go to that link and sign up on your Gmail or email account, or you can come to me out there at the front desk and hook you up with the hour tour.
Excellent. And thanks for Capital Factory for providing the facilities and the AV.
Yep.
Yeah. Very good. Keith.
I'm Keith McCormick. I am a metagame designer, and I'm not presently looking, but you know, I'm just meeting people. My website is keithmccormick.com. There's no K on the end, and I do have business cards.
Excellent. Cool. All right. We got that part. Are there any more in that category? People looking for work. Okay, is anyone looking to hire? There's actually a lot of those around town, and you can probably find it if you look around. We may not have representatives of those tonight, but there is actually, you know, a ramp up.
I might be looking for some animators.
Might be looking for some animators. Very good. Gordon Walton.
Yeah, Wargaming is looking for data scientists, so if you're interested, yeah,
Yeah.
shoot me know.
you make to the end of your talk, you'll be that much closer to actually being a data scientist. You explain your own job.
Yeah. We're gonna learn
That is what you're going to talk about, right?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about analytics, not data science, but yeah, some analytics.
All right. Well, if that's it for we'll have an intermission in the middle of this, and Alex is going to signal me when that will be, so that you can re-beer and re-pizza and all that good stuff. But like I said, we do this show second Thursday of every month. We have one that's lined up for May the 11th. Max Hoverman, the co-founder of Certain Affinity, will be our speaker, and we'll just keep going as long as we possibly can. So, but our speaker tonight is the lead analyst at Wargaming.net, makers of World of Tanks and Master of Orion and lots of other games, Alex Nenadavets.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you John and Gordon for organizing this stuff. It's a really great event. When I first came to Austin, I was really happy to visit this place and like communicate with other developers. So as John already said, I'm Alex Nenadavets. I'm from Wargaming, and today we're going to talk about Wargaming, the history of this company, and the company is behind World of Tanks, big product. And we also, like the next section, the second section of my presentation will be about free-to-play success, about some metrics, so about the trends, and about some other interesting analytical stuff. So, let's begin. Okay. Just before I start presenting something, telling you something, just some of my experience. I started my career as an investment analyst at a company called Agility Capital. And interesting fact about this company, I'm from Belarus, from Minsk, from Europe. And this company was a subsidiary of Texas-based company based in Dallas. And yeah, it's a bank called Bill Bank, it's a pretty big bank. So I worked there for 2 years, had some big projects. Then after 2 years I joined Wargaming HQ in Minsk, publisher department, and had several products there, several projects. One of them is World of Tanks Blitz. It has 7 million installs on mobile right now. I worked on this project from its launch, helped to build an analytical system for this product, and influenced many game design decisions which were made, so influenced how the product looks like right now. Also, one of the biggest projects for me was World of Tanks Clan Wars. It's a mode in World of Tanks for hardcore players. It's like a map where players fight for some land, for provinces, which generate premium currency. Also was responsible for launching internet gaming rooms in Korea, and some building analytical capabilities for esports and for several services. After 2 years in Minsk, I got an offer to join a team here in Austin, Wargaming BI, Business Intelligence. And currently I'm mostly responsible for competitive analysis, strategic planning for leadership team in HQ, game evaluation, business model. So game evaluation and business modeling is the biggest part of my work these days. So I'm part of internal green light. So any games coming in the company from outside developers, from third-party developers, and from inside the company, like we have 3 R&D departments right now, are going through me. So I analyze them, evaluate them, and decide what to do next with them. So if you have any games, you can send to me. So I'd like to start my talk talking about my country a little bit, because it's connected with the history of World of Tanks. And so Belarus, it's a small country, 10 million people. Probably some of you never heard about it. It's between Russia and Poland. And interesting thing about this country is that we have our own high-tech park. It's similar to Silicon Valley. The government provides some tax perks to the residents of this park. And this park helped to build, first of all, outsourcing capabilities in Belarus. So you can find pretty cheap developers there. Helped to build such giant companies as EPAM, eTransition, EBAM. EPAM had recently made an IPO in New York Stock Exchange, really big company. And also it helped to build some big products. So Viber, it's a messenger with 800 million users, was built in Belarus and was acquired later by a Japanese company. MSQRD, you probably never heard about this company, but next time when you go to Facebook Messenger and use these crazy filters for photos that they have. So this technology was built in Belarus by MSQRD company and was acquired by Facebook a year ago for $80 million. Maps meets offline maps, and really great service when you travel a lot and you're not sure if the country will have internet. And of course, World of Tanks. So World of Tanks was built in Minsk. We currently have 2,000 developers there. It's the biggest development office for Wargaming. Yeah, and World of Tanks is still developed there. We are getting updates and everything. And there are many other products which are going to be developed and published through this office. So World of Tanks. How many of you guys played World of Tanks? Cool, really many. So I don't need to explain a lot how the game looked like. So, and the game, actually, yeah, okay, I'll tell to the people who never seen it. So the game, we call it, I call it actually, it's a slow Counter-Strike with tanks. So it's actually a 15 versus 15 PvP game, which covers World War II vehicles, mostly tanks. So some numbers for you. So World of Tanks right now is top 5th free-to-play title by revenue worldwide. In 2016, it generated 450 million US dollars in revenue, with 12 million monthly active audience, monthly active unique users, and with 120 million installs worldwide. So looks like success for me. So, but success is a mixture of expertise and luck, and we're gonna talk about two components. I think this statement, I made it when I was preparing this presentation. It was not made by some philosopher or someone else, so you just can quote Alex Nenadavets. Success is a mixture of expertise and luck. So the first thing we're gonna talk about expertise, about building this expertise. So Wargaming, actually really old company. Not many people know about it, but Wargaming is almost 20 years old. It's going to be 20 years old next year. The company was started in 1998, and the first game that they developed, it was a digital tabletop miniature game, DBA Online. It was developed by 7 people, so it was a small indie company. The game was not successful, but they got some money so to proceed further, and they found some investments also. So the next title was developed, it was Massive Assault. The game was bigger. Later they developed 5 Massive Assault games, and yeah, but still it was an indie company. At that time they had like 50 developers, and the whole team was around 70 people. In 2007, the big thing happened to the company in terms of they shifted from sci-fi stuff to historical stuff. So sorry guys, it's in Russian, but the game was developed in Russia and was developed for Russian people. And this game is really important for wargaming history because this game was about World War II. It was called Operation Bagration, and it covered World War II offensive operation by Soviet army against Germany. So next game, which was also connected with tanks in World War II, was Order of War. And this game already had tank models. Again, it was a retail game. Wargaming used publisher to get this game to the market. It was Square Enix. Actually, it was first game for Square Enix, which was not developed in Japan, but published by Square Enix. So in 2011, finally, Wargaming launched World of Tanks. So, and the company exploded. So I told you, it had 70 people. In 2 years, it became 2,000 people company, a big corporation. Later, we developed, I already joined the company at that time, we developed World of Warplanes and World of Warships. This is about building expertise. So the success is not coming like instantly. You need to build some expertise, you need to understand the market, you need to have some experience to build something big. But also, I told you, it's not only about expertise. There are many companies which work a lot of, which developed a lot of games, but never developed a hit. So it's also about luck. And you see, it says works for tanks. It's crazy, right? So when Wargaming decided to develop like a big game, it was like in 2007, 2008. They looked at the market, and there were many fantasy games. And like World of Warcraft was already there. League of Legends was in development. Fantasy was popular. Fantasy was really popular. And Wargaming started to develop fantasy MMO. So they spent 1 year developing. And they were starting to look for a publisher, and they presented a prototype to a publisher. Publisher agreed to take this game. And next day, they were drinking, developers and the founders of the company, they're drinking and thinking about the future of the company, and they decided to scrap this project. They didn't like it. They didn't want to proceed with this idea. They just decided, let's scratch it. And let's develop the tank game. So the problem with the tank game and with Wargaming looking for a publisher for this game is that there was a concept on the market these days that players cannot personify themselves with a tank. And if they cannot personify themselves with a tank, they're not going to pay for cosmetics, for skins, for all other stuff. So it's impossible to monetize this game. So all publishers refused Wargaming offer. There is an interesting story about this kind of search for a publisher. Like there is a company called Mail.ry, Russian Google. It's a huge company with billion revenue, billion turnover. And Wargaming made an offer to this company to get publishing rights for World of Tanks for $1 million. They refused. And in a year, the game generated $200 million. So, and the irony of this story is that a year ago, Mail.ry published its own tank game. It was too late, and it failed miserably. So as I told you, Wargaming scrapped this fantasy game, but not everything from this game. So this is one of the first screenshots from World of Tanks. You see some fantasy hero, you see a map similar to many MOBAs, and you see a tank. And actually when you, and when you Google it, you can Google tanks against orcs, and you see the launch video for Wargaming. And on this launch video, tank smashes an orc. So many people think that it's like something about competition, about this, but now you know it's like internal story. They just scrapped it. They just smashed this game and started to develop new one. But you know, 1 year of development, yeah, it burns a lot of money, even in Belarus. So the company started to look for investments. And again, the luck factor. The company was doing some outsourcing. And they, back to 2001, they developed a tool called Ad Revolver. It was a tool for showing advertisements, so showing commercials on the internet. And they were lucky that in 2008, Yahoo acquired the company for which Wargaming developed this tool. And Wargaming got a share from this acquisition. So they get money for this development. And also they got a contract for maintaining the tool and for further development. So they get money for World of Tanks, and World of Tanks was developed. So, like, the next thing that we're gonna talk, like, yes, World of Tanks was developed, but why it became successful? So, we already saw. So this is, we're gonna talk about some cultural context. This is the pictures from Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian cities. If you plan to visit some Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian or CIS city, go to main square or go to downtown of the city, and you'll see a tank. You'll see a tank standing somewhere in the center of the square. So World War II is still big thing in CIS countries. The country was really affected, like Soviet Union was really affected by this war. 27 million people died during this war. from my country, from Belarus, 25% of the population died. Every family was affected. And Victory Day, and actually we don't call this war as World War II, we call it Great Patriotic War. So you understand, like, the cultural context is really big. So, and the tank is a symbol of this war. It's what people think about when they think about this war. They imagine tank, because tank helped a lot to win this war. And Victory Day, it's one of the biggest holidays in Belarus and in Russia. So Wargaming managed to successfully utilize this cultural context and provide something to people that they can play and they can associate with their grandfathers, great-grandfathers, and all this stuff. It's not that like people in Belarus wants to fight and all this stuff. No, it's not about this. So some other factors behind this. Yeah, I already told you about cultural context, but it's not only about cultural context, of course. It's also about target audience. So, target audience for wargaming. Who do you think plays World of Tanks? Like, who is the main core of this audience? In your opinion, just shoot it.
Historical people that are interested in history stuff.
That's right. That's right.
Males 35 and up.
Cool. That's right. So yes, this is a game for the majority of our players are older than 35 years and they're males. So, and there were not so many games for this kind of audience at that time. Also, we call World of Tanks as a game for your dad. So we positioned like, yeah, the games that your dad's gonna play. It's not like yeah, young people play it too, but it's slow, so it doesn't require reaction. It doesn't require reaction like modern shooters. That's why people, even older people, feel comfortable playing it. They can compete, they can be competitive in this game. And also, we have like internal joke in Minsk office that you can play World of Tanks and eat borscht, Russian soup, so slow. So, and yeah, I think with World of Tanks we made the same what Pokemon Go did. We acquired a completely new audience. We didn't cannibalize any existing audience. We made many researches of our audience, and for the majority actually of our core, it's the first game that they play. So they started to play video games because of World of Tanks. Many of them purchased their computers, especially in Russia, because of World of Tanks. So World of Tanks became a cultural phenomenon there. And the majority also of our target audience, they are blue-collar workers, so like factory workers, and the guys that they never played games. So with World of Tanks, it became really, really important that it was not shy for them to discuss this game with co-workers. It was not shy to them to say that they're gamers. It was not about something childish. It was about tanks, big machines with metal. Of course, there are other factors, business model. So our main market at that time, not right now, was in Russia. And Russia is known for high piracy level. So, and Wargaming just introduced a free-to-play model. It was great for people. They thought they would not pay in this game, but at the end, like, they paid more than for the retail titles. And of course, PC requirements, as low as possible. It's also an issue for CIS markets. We also have a joke about this. We have jokes for everything. So, PC requirements should be low to run the game on a calculator. So, yeah, but we try to improve the graphics, of course, but try not to hit the machines that people use for game. Actually, if you ever heard about the game called Crossfire, it's a Chinese shooter similar to Counter-Strike. They also have the same strategy with PC requirements, and they have 50 million monthly active users. It's a huge game. It's the second largest game, free-to-play game in the world. So what's Wargaming right now? Wargaming right now is a huge company. We have 16 or 17 offices right now. I don't have Prague on this map. We have 5 offices in US, in Seattle, in Emerville, in Chicago, in Baltimore, and of course in Austin. In Austin we have business intelligence department. And I already told it, maybe tell it to other people. We are looking for some data scientists because we have business intelligence. So if you're a data scientist, please tell me. Maybe I can recommend and help you to find a job. Because now you know the history of all the things in Wargaming. That's a big advantage for you. So what's Wargaming right now? World of Tanks is still the biggest project for the company. It generates a lot of revenue for the company. But we also ported this product to mobile. World of Tanks Blitz, 2 consoles, to Xbox One, to PS4. We launch other titles. It's World of Warplanes, World of Warships, Master of Orion, Hybrid Wars. We have mobile division, which publishes different game. Like My Cafe is a game for women. Yes, Wargaming publishes game for women. It's really popular. Tower Defense, some casual game. Gods and Glory. Finally, we publish fantasy game. Yeah. Actually, it was not developed by Wargaming, but Wargaming became like a third-party publisher for this game. So yeah, that's it. Here we can make a break if you want, or I can continue. How you guys feel?
Well, we had a lot of people that came in afterwards, so
Okay.
Thanks for all the people that came in after it started. So now is probably a pretty good time, especially for people who didn't get a drink and pizza on the way in.
Yeah.
But you're welcome to do that. And also restrooms, just go back to the main desk and turn left if you want to do that.
But you know, guys, you missed the story about orcs. I can tell you, Clint.
All right, just take your timepiece and count 10 minutes from now. We'll be back after 10. Yes.
The tanks are cool.
How's it going? I'm Soren.
I mean, we were waiting for that to get a garage. Hi, Scott. How are you? Speaking because he asked.
How do you
right now it's just a hobby thing, but right now like I had this and one guy's a really good photographer, so I just work on the art now. So that's what I do. So it's a lot easier for me because I really want to make a photographer. It's in like a day or two.
Thank you. Talk to him about argument. I'm Taylor, by the way.
What kind of stuff do you prepare?
I'm in college right now, and
Learning curve.
It's okay. So you said you are looking for money. Yeah,
Usually I've done a lot of I want to do
we do have a game design major.
Is it synchronous or like
Yeah.
it's not completely like real time. Okay, let's do this way. You send me an email, describe the game, provide some writing, and people who are responsible for marketing, because we have a policy, they look at the games and they send it to me, they like, because they have like requirements, what kind of games we take, what kind of games we don't take. So yeah, let's see if I can have something like this.
Well, are you planning anything right now? Like,
Oh, right. For investments.
You're doing okay, but the game was not
yeah, or like some ridiculous and I'm like sitting here
kind of like
trying to do stuff. It don't really swag. Yeah, I'm a master.
a lot more.
Mobile market right now is it's about acquisition, we need to invest in because we need to get features. If they need to, it's hard to get some features, but for gaming, yes, every game is I don't promise anything, but I'll connect you with people and we'll definitely take a look at
Way back, thank you very much for talking to each other.
I'm good. I have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
You are so well
disciplined.
I didn't give you the challenge tonight, but yeah, before you leave, you should probably make contact with someone that you didn't know before. If you can do that, that's part of the reason why you should bring business cards. Those of you who didn't do that are at a disadvantage. But there's also another thing I forgot to say is that Alex is speaking tonight because he asked about half the good questions back in December when Gordon and I restarted this, when Jack Emmert was our talker. So, and he said, "Here's my business card," and I said, "Do you want to speak about something?" It's like, "Yeah, I'll talk about game analysis." Because again, it's not a specifically game dev thing. You've led us up to this point. I'm going to assume that your next half is going to be a lot more about what you exactly do and publishing aspects. So, ready to go?
Yeah, let's go. And guys, yeah, I want this speech will be like a conversation with you, so like a discussion. And I have actually some cool stuff for you, some swag from Wargaming. So I'll give it for some good questions. So, so the second part of my presentation is about launching free-to-play PC games. This principle, actually, some principle can be applied to console market too and to mobile market, but mostly right now will be about PC. So we're going to talk about market size, about growth dynamics, and about retention metrics, and of course about monetization metrics. So the first thing will be about market size. So why it's important to understand how big your market, you probably know that it's critical when you're looking for investments, you're looking for a publisher, to understand how big your game is gonna be and how big market exists for your game. So, and many publishers, many developers struggle with defining the market. It's hard, yeah, I understand you. And I'm gonna provide you some approaches, some methods how to define the market, how to understand how big your market. So they're pretty simple, but I made them simple so you can use them on everyday life and don't spend a lot of time on them. So the first one is top-down approach. It's a classical funnel. If you work with analytics for a game, so you know about the funnel. So I built the funnel here for actual retail title. Here's the price. So what does this funnel mean? Let's go step by step. So when we start developing game, we need to develop it for some platform. For example, we take PC platform. So to understand how big this PC platform, we just take all PC available on the market, like 1.5 billion PC on the market. Then we limit this audience by language. So for how many languages we're going to localize this game. For example, we're going to localize it into Russian, English, and some other languages. So it's going to limit our audience too, because we don't take Chinese. And then we're going to limit this market by tag. So how many computers from this bucket can be able to run your game. Then we limit it by ability. By ability, I mean, this hardcore, mid-core, casual stuff. Not all players are gonna play hardcore games. It will be too hard for them. They don't like them. So ability also limits your audience. Then we have some audience, and then we speak about appeal of this audience. So how you're gonna approach them, how much marketing money you have to approach this audience. Because if you don't have marketing money for like PR or some other stuff, you cannot reach these guys so they can see your game and start playing it. Then we speak about price. If it's for retail title, and again it's reach. You see, it's small, right? It's really small, but some platforms help to go through this funnel, like Steam. You go to Steam and you publish, that's it, and you understand that Steam provides you some visibility. I think they provide like 1 million views for a game, like they guarantee. Anyway, so this is about building the market size. But you probably have a question where to find the data for this kind of evaluations. Here is some list for you. So Super Data, great tool for PC and console data. They don't cover a lot of mobile. Muzu covers mobile. IHS covers almost everything, but they are pretty old-fashioned and for PC data, but they have good console data. IDG, it's small consulting shop. They also have really great reports about the market. Statista covers almost everything, so if you need the size of PC market, you probably go to Statista and they'll provide it. EDAR, again, is mobile shop. Steam hardware, software survey. So if you developed a game, almost all these tools are paid, yes, but they publish a lot of free stuff. Like they have blogs, they have some public accounts, they do it for publicity, for some PR. So they publish a lot of numbers which you can use for free. So if you develop the game for Steam, Steam hardware and software survey is the source that you need to use. So every month Steam publishes a survey of their audience, and it provides the information about the tech, about hardware, software that players use, and it helps to understand the audience you're gonna publish your game to. So the second approach, it's a market size approach. It's bottom-up approach. And I made a picture. This is a picture about blue oceans and red oceans. Have you heard about this concept? So red ocean is the marketplace with a lot of sharks, a lot of competitors. So when you enter this ocean, you're gonna compete with these sharks and try to bite part of the market. So this approach is pretty simple. You're getting the data about your competitors and trying to estimate how much you're gonna bite from them. Blue ocean is harder, but it's much better because you create the market like World of Tanks did. Like we just entered the market with which never existed. Again, where to find the data? Again, super data, public reports. Many existing companies, they are public. They have to publish financial data. They have to publish the data about their performance. Steam Spy. Again, this tool was created by former Wargaming employee Sergey Golonkin. So if you want to figure out how some game performs on Steam, this is a great source for you. It provides installs and weekly data, and also a lot of geographical data, some language data. It's great, but still, don't take it like it's super accurate. It provides estimates. It doesn't provide actual data from developers. Usually, it's confidential. VG charts, it's also some tool for getting estimates about games, about their performance. Similar web. This resource is mostly about understanding the volume of traffic some websites getting, some portals getting. So also can be used for understanding and analyzing your market. Actually, business librarians. So this year I was at South by Southwest, and I visited the lecture which was called, the name of this lecture was like market sizing and market research or something like this. And it was presented by business librarians. And I was surprised, like in my country, when I go to the library, I just get a book and go home, that's it. So in US, it appears, there is this like position business librarian. So these guys, for free, help you to build, to make a market research for a company. They have an access to many databases, paid databases like LexisNexis, which are really expensive. So I recommend you to connect these guys, and they will definitely help you to find information about your business, about your game, about anything you want. But there are no business librarians in Austin. There are several in San Antonio, and they're hiring one for Austin Library. I don't know what library it will be, but yeah, just check their website and probably, yeah, some days they'll make an announcement. Ask people. For data, just ask people, go to Quora, go to Reddit, connect with them directly through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through anything. And of course, yeah, shoot me a note. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, and if I have time, sometimes I have time, I can help you, definitely, no problem with that. So, some life hacks, of course. All this hard stuff have life hacks. So, have you ever heard about Facebook Audience Insights? Cool, that's great. So Facebook, you know, it's not social network anymore, it's advertising platform. So, and they have pretty good targeting for their ads itself. So, and because of this targeting, they created good tool for analyzing what kind of audience they have. And you can use it for free, not for launching campaigns. You just go to Facebook Audience Insights. For example, I went there and put chose the country United States, and I choose age from 18 to any. Didn't choose any gender, and I choose World of Warcraft. Just imagine that I'm developing the games that are going to target World of Warcraft users. And Facebook told me that there are 1.5 to 2 million monthly active people which like World of Warcraft. This is great, and also it provides some information about their gender, about their age, about their lifestyle, a lot of information, you just need to scroll down. So, Facebook is really great for Western countries, like European countries, for US, for Canada, because it has high penetration in these regions. It's bad for China, because it does not exist there. It was banned. It's bad for Russia, because it's not the dominant social network there. So, but this is good life hack for North American market, use it. Another life hack, it's pretty simple. Google Trends. Just go to Google Trends, put the terms that you're searching, and you'll see the volume traffic this term is getting. So you see this, and it's pretty representative. You see these peaks. So these peaks are driven by the updates that World of Warcraft made. It also provides you some regional distribution. I don't know why, but it looks like World of Warcraft is really popular in Denmark, in Czech Republic, and in Sweden. I have no idea. So you also can compare. So you can add World of Warcraft and, for example, World of Tanks, and decide, okay, maybe it's better to develop a game for World of Tanks players and target them. So this was about market size. Some exciting part about growth dynamics. So this is going to be about monthly active audience dynamics. And to prepare this part, I analyzed 50 free-to-play titles on the market. It's the biggest title on the market, and after analyzing them, I got 3 patterns for monthly active audience dynamics. The first one is stable growth. So if you get this pattern, you're a lucky one. This is monthly active audience growth dynamics for Dota 2 since their launch till now. So you see they're growing, they're cool. So the games which follow this pattern have a stable monthly active audience growth for several years, at least 3 years, and the active audience is still growing. The problem with this pattern is that there are just few games that can follow this pattern. And these games are genre-defining games. If you're lucky to get this pattern, start looking for a house in Mount Bonnell. You're gonna get a lot of money. So the second pattern, it's more popular. So it's long-term growth and decline. This is the data. This is dynamics of monthly active audience for Counter-Strike Online. So the pattern, the games from this group have grown for several years, reached their peak, and have been steadily declining since that time. Usually the decline is not abrupt. It's smooth. There are more games that follow this pattern. Again, all these games are successful. And the games from the first group probably will end in this group. So Atlantica, Magic the Gathering, Online, Heroes of Neverest, Warface, Elsword, Crossfire, Counter-Strike, MapleStory, and some other titles. You're also lucky if you get this pattern. World of Tanks has similar pattern right now, but we stabilized it almost at the peak of our monthly active audience. And the third pattern, just remember this picture. This is how your game probably is going to behave. I'm sorry guys, but it's true. So the game from this group usually reach their monthly active audience peak within a year. So sometimes several months more. Free-to-play games, yeah, and then they decline. The spikes are largely attributed to seasonality, some updates, and marketing activities. So, in the majority of free-to-play games follow the short-term growth and decline pattern. Here are some examples for you. So if you're building a game, free-to-play game, and it's not genre-defining game, it has some unique points, but it's not so unique that it's gonna disrupt the market. Forecast the following, this part of a game. Why you need to forecast this kind of part? Because it's important for technical, how many servers you need, how many marketing you need to put. You probably need to put your marketing the first day, for the first month. And I'll explain later why it's important to have marketing for the first month. Here's some numbers for you, just for entertainment. This is monthly active audience. This is actual estimates by Super Data for top 5 monthly active audience, top 5 free-to-play games by monthly active audience. See League of Legends, they have 105 million monthly active users in February 2017. Crossfire is the second one, Dungeon Fighter Online, then Blade and Soul, and Dota 2. And some revenue numbers. It's monthly revenue. Yeah, League of Legends makes crazy amount of money. 180 million per month. Crossfire 100 million. And World of Tanks 40 million per month. So yeah, source Super Data, it's estimates, but they're pretty accurate. Retention metrics. So this is, I think, it's one of the most important part of this presentation, because free-to-play market has already evolved. It became an established business model on the market. There is significant competition on the market, and it's not. And the acquisition price has significantly increased. It's insane. It's insane on mobile right these days, but for PC it's even worse. So retention started to play the most important role. You should think about the happiness of your players. It's much better these days than acquiring new players and see how your existing audience is churning. So, retention. Let's speak about the numbers. So, yeah, some graphs for you. So this graph, you see 83%. This graph actually for the launch months. So in the launch months, on the second day, from your audience that join your game on the first day, you're gonna lose 17% of this audience. So 83% will come back to your game on the next day. So day 1 retention. Day 7 retention, so 42% of your players come back to your game. You're gonna lose half of your player base in a week. In a month, you're gonna lose 80% of your audience. So only 20% is gonna stay with your game, with your game. At the end of the year, only 6% of initial audience is gonna stay with you. And actually, it's a pretty good number, because only 1/10 of players, 0.6, who log in for the first time in the 12 months after a game is released. So not in the launch months, but a year later, gonna stay in your game after a year. So this is retention dynamics by the start months. So you see, you have the highest retention on the first months, and the retention decreases while the game is evolving, the game is living. So on the 12 months, the retention will be 2 times lower. One day retention will be 2 times lower than in the first months. It's really huge. I mean, that's why you need to really care about your first months. That's why free-to-play developers always they have alpha, they have beta, they have closed beta. So during these phases of your game development, you should be sure that you have the highest possible metrics for your game, because after the launch, this metrics gonna deteriorate. So some conclusions from this. So pre-release marketing is critical in establishing an initial customer base that is loyal and fully engaged. This is gonna be your core. This is gonna be like players that gonna keep the game live. So make sure that your game is polished enough to be published. Test it, get good metrics, and then launch it. The first month is critical in gauging the long-term success of your title. as it serves as a proxy. If the first month is bad, probably next will be worse. Like I give you 95% will get worse. So but I didn't mention this, I didn't show it on the graph, but I'm gonna mention this here. So if a free-to-play MMO managed to stay afloat for a period of around 2 years, 24 months, it will begin to attract new valuable players. So, and it's pretty simple explanation for this. Because if your game stays for 2 years afloat and it's still, people still play it, it's gonna be distributed by word of mouth. People gonna talk about it, they're gonna attract their friends, all that stuff. So and attract more valuable, more engaged users. Monetization. Yeah, some also exciting stuff. Not many people share this stuff, but I'm gonna share it with you. So make notes if you want. It helps to build some business models. If you build business models for a game, you probably need one if you're gonna cooperate with Wargaming. So this is pretty hard to pronounce metric, but it's pretty simple. It's average revenue per monthly active user. So it's how much active user pays in your game per month. It's not paying user, it's active user. So paying user is different thing, and the metric is going to be higher, much more higher. So this is top 5 game by these metrics. So Magic the Gathering Online, it's pretty big outlier because it has small audience. They have around 200,000 monthly active audience, pretty small. But you see Team Fortress, which is really popular game, they have around $4 per active user per month. World of Tanks has around 4 too. So industry median or industry average, if you understand. So it's 2.2. This is if you can achieve this number for your game, you're good. You're really great. This is number actually for Dota 2. Dota 2 has this number Valve has this number for Dota 2. League of Legends has 1.7, 1.8. But League of Legends has really soft monetization. It's mostly about cosmetics, about heroes, about skins, and yeah. So there are not so many opportunities to monetize. And of course, conversion rate. So conversion rate it's how many people convert from active users into paying users. So how many people pay in your game monthly. Again, Magic the Gathering, crazy 20%, 21% even. Team Fortress 2, 19%. Yeah, World of Tanks is around 15%, and Pokemon trading card game. So industry median is 8.6%. If you can get 10% for a game, you're great. 10% it's like industry standard for free-to-play games, and 10% of your population monetize. If you have 100 million of your population, like 10 million is gonna monetize, which is great. Yeah, I think that's it, guys.
Very good. I'll just point out, at no point did you ever mention Overwatch.
Because it's not free to play.
Good point. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, they actually plan to become free to play, but then they decide they have too good games to become free to play.
Yeah, well, people will still pay $60 for a box. So.
I think maybe in 5 years they can become free to play.
Yeah, Team Fortress 2 has that model.
Yeah,
right.
many games follow this pattern actually, from retail to free to play, with established brands especially.
And Dota, the big one.
Yeah.
We're right here in Austin, SWOTOR. Yeah, they launched as a pay-to-play model, and within under a year, they very rapidly switched to free-to-play. Herculean effort.
Yeah, you know why it's happening.
Any questions for Alex?
Yeah, let's go. Please.
So we were talking about how after launch you immediately start to lose a lot of your player base. How do you think that correlates to like early access games? I always wonder if they actually lose a lot of the interest because they take so long to come out. It's like they already have, kind of.
Yeah. So Wargaming has experience of launching also retail titles, and we launch them on Steam, and we know something about early access. So first of all, treat these days treat your early access as actual launch. There is no early access anymore. If you launch the game on Steam, that's it, it's done. You're gonna reach your peak during the early access. So the game should be, for example, if you're a developer like Wargaming, it should be polished. If you're indie developer, it's okay to be not polished. But your main community, your main core will come to early access, and it's not gonna increase significantly. So yes, and early access audience is the best. So it's gonna stay in your game for a long time.
Because of the really dedicated
Yes,
fans.
it's dedicated, engaged. They're waiting for this game. They're looking for some news. They're looking for updates of this game. And yeah, they invested money in your game. If we were talking about retail title, they invested money in nothing because the game didn't exist. Yep. Yes, please.
I don't want to, ask too many secrety stuff, but for instance, I've noticed a slight difference in the monetization strategy between World of Tanks and World of Warships.
Yes.
And I'm kind of curious, without giving away too much, if there are little nuggets of what worked better in terms of the conversion rate or the.
So I can tell you that World of Warships monetize better in North America and other European countries than World of Tanks. But World of Tanks monetize better in Russia because World of Tanks is a cultural phenomenon there, and World of Warships is not. So World of Warships experimented a lot. So they experimented, for example, with some kind of gacha boxes. It was pretty good. And you should also remember that World of Warships is developed by a different team. It's developed in St. Petersburg in Russia, and Wargaming acquired this team. So they kind of a little bit independent, and sometimes they make decisions which are different from World of Tanks strategy. Yeah.
Thanks.
Welcome. Yes, Gordon, please.
Hey, I had a.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Was it? Okay. I had a couple questions.
Yeah.
If that's right. So first, you had said, so the first group of games, they are increasing, right, for at least 3 years. The second group hit a peak and slowly decline. But you had mentioned that the first group will probably end up in the second group at some point, which makes sense.
Yes.
Is there an average time frame when most free-to-play games are hitting that peak?
For hitting the peak? For the majority of games.
For when most games who maybe have been successful in that first group will start to decline?
2 years.
2 years, okay. So is that where you get to if you hang on for 2 years?
Yeah, two and a half. Yeah, that's if you're growing. Probably if you have great game, then if it's not genre defining great hit, you probably decline in 2 years. You start declining 2 years. You reach your peak and that's it.
So that's the other question I had is you had said with the 2 years, if you can hang on for 2 years, you'll probably at least sort of get some sort of a bump. Is there a definition of what hanging on? Like, how do you think about hanging on? So it's not just sort of
so
existing,
about hanging on, it means that you're gonna keep the consistent number of players, which will be enough for good matchmaking and good online. So people can play comfortably in your game. Because matchmaking is a big deal for free to play.
Right.
You don't have enough players on server. You had bad matchmaking. You have bad online. That's it. People are gonna start leaving. It's like domino effect.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Yes, please.
Do you have any metrics as to these games that were successful? What percentage of that revenue or whatever goes back into reinvestment of the game on a monthly basis for events and updates and marketing?
Yes, a lot. At least 25%. At least 25% goes to game again, to game back. Yes, Gordon, please. Sorry.
So we've seen a trend over the last couple of years of people moving to hybrid, buy to play plus free to play models.
Yes.
Do you have any early analysis on that?
So you see the titles successful titles with this model, they have really strong brand. we did some analysis on this, and yeah, the key factor is brand, because competition is pretty intense on the market, and it's hard to persuade people buy a retail title and then pay make enough purchases there. So like with Overwatch, just because of Blizzard, the game is so insanely popular. I don't see many games coming to the market with this model, because the reason why many consumers like retail titles, because they hate free to play. So if you add free to play to retail title, probably not a good idea for like no name game. So yeah. I don't know, I answered your question?
No, you answered.
Okay. Yeah, please.
You mentioned that League of Legends has like a soft monetization model.
Yes.
Are there metrics that inform your decision making on like how soft or hard your monetization model should be in a free-to-play game?
Yeah, Wargaming also position its titles as free-to-win titles. So it depends. For example, in China you can do a lot of crazy hard stuff like selling tanks which can outperform other tanks, or providing some VIP statuses which will provide advantage to the owners of this status. It's okay, they like it, they love it. In North America it will not work. Just remember that players, if they see that the game is not fair, they're gonna leave. So in the majority of regions. So think about this fairness. Don't provide too overpowered vehicles, too overpowered heroes. You can do this actually for a limited period of time. You can launch a hero which is gonna outperform other heroes, and many publishers, many game developers do this stuff. It's good for monetization. But then in a week, in a month, you're gonna nerf it. You're gonna decrease and nerf it. People hate it, but that's the truth. That's how it works. So, and this is how developers getting money from the games. Yeah, but you also can include some retail stuff into free-to-play titles. Like World of Tanks has premium account. It's actually a subscription. So, and it's one of the best revenue generation features of World of Tanks. So it doesn't give any advantage to the users. They just progress faster than other users, but during the battle they're the same. Yep.
There's a YouTube video a few years ago by Toy Vitamin where he did an analysis of the free-to-play. Are you familiar with that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering how accurate that is, because I don't think it was officially sanctioned, but he goes into detail on, like a 2-hour video, he talks about the monetization of
World of
Tanks, yeah.
Yeah, I think we even invited this guy to the office.
Okay, so it's pretty accurate then?
It has some mistakes.
Okay.
So, but I'm aware of the video. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was good from game designer standpoint. Yeah. So basically, World of Tanks it's not complex game in terms of monetization. You can get it. It's pretty complex game in terms of game mechanics and physics involved in these games, and tech behind the game. So yeah, it's a good video. If you want to know more about World of Tanks, watch this video. Yeah.
Which games would you say are like really setting the trends for monetization? Like, are there ones that are, setting it for free to play? Are there ones that are kind of hybrid? Like, I played a lot of Grand Theft Auto, and that game was weird. It was, retail, then it went to monetization, then it's changed, and then like they just seem like they're all over the place with their monetization.
So I think the games that set in monetization these days is Counter-Strike. What they did with the skins. With all this stuff for new generation, for millennials, just crazy. They just exploded with this stuff. It helped to build them e-sport community. It helped to build them betting community, gambling. So it's the games that set in the trends these days for free to play. For retail, of course, it's Overwatch. So what they did by they crush the market with their game, and they crush the market. Like I was analyzing the performance in Asia, and like Asia is well known for the guys like in Russia they hate retail, they don't pay for games. And in Asia, and you know about like Call of Duty Online and other titles that the titles that were developed specifically for Asians, they were free to play. Like Call of Duty now was free to play for Western markets, but in Asia it was free to play. So Overwatch is really popular in Asia, even with the retail model. So it just it's the genre that defines the monetization these days for retail, and it's,
Do you adjust your monetization strategies based on the platform of the game? Like say, is Blitz different than Orbital Tanks and House items?
Yeah, we keep the basic stuff, like premium account, like free experience. But of course, we change the monetization. Like monetization on console World of Tanks. So let's say like 60% different from PC World of Tanks. And monetization in Blitz, it's like maybe 80% different from monetization in PC version. So yes, we adapted, of course. The platforms are different, the patterns of behavior of players are different. They pay different, like, just, you need to do this. You cannot just port the game to the same platform with the same monetization. You need to change the prices, you need to change when you push players to this first payment, you need to change everything, almost everything. Yeah, please.
Do you have any tips or guidelines when it comes to merchandising, like physical T-shirts and plushies, and when you begin such a transition?
So this is hard. I tell you that building this infrastructure, if you have a big game, even if you have a small game, I tell you that the majority of big companies do it with negative profit, so they don't make money on this, especially if it's not big esport title. But I recommend to start it when you're big and you can manage all these distributional channels, all this stuff. But you probably heard about Amazon and Twitch. So Twitch is gonna sell games. It's selling games already. So streamers play games, and they can sell this game and sell in-game items in this game, and they get commission 5% commission. So the next step, I talked to Amazon about this. The next step, they're gonna add a button from Amazon. You can purchase swag and other stuff. So it's gonna be easier for developers next. So you can just put it on Amazon, and Amazon is gonna handle all this distribution and everything.
And they already do fulfillment for T-shirts and stuff. They'll do game merchandise.
But they're gonna implement it in Twitch, so it's gonna be like a platform. Yes, go ahead, please.
So, Wargaming made a very significant investment in BI, business intelligence.
Yes.
What wins can you share that are okay to share publicly about, what difference did you make for the company?
Significant difference. Like Wargaming, when World of Tanks launched, was a startup, and they didn't know how to.
15-year-old startup, right?
Yeah, 15-year-old startup. It's startup. It was a startup. But when World of Tanks launched, it was still startup. The data was handled by like 2 people, and it was impossible to get insights by 2 people just handling technical side of the data management. So business intelligence helped, first of all, to save a lot of money, because business intelligence, the idea of business intelligence, you monitor your stuff, and if you see you're losing money on some activities, you just stop these activities. So the first step was to start monitoring all the activities, all possible activities in the games, in the company. So we did this, and we stopped Wargaming from spending money on some crazy stuff. The second part, that the market and the monetization is becoming personal. What does it mean? It means that you play in the game, we play in games like for 2 days, we're gonna offer you something. And we're gonna offer something different to a player who played in the game for 2 years. So right now we build pretty extensive CRM system which targets different players and understand by their behavior when they're gonna play, when they're gonna pay in the game, when they plan to churn from the game, when they're gonna leave the game. When the activity is low, maybe we need to send them some push notification. So it helped to increase the revenue of the company significantly. So yeah, it's like 2 basic things. Monitoring of the data, collecting this data, so making it right, and then getting additional value from the data, like making this personalized offers. And of course, still like we have data analysts here from Wargaming, sitting my colleagues. They can tell a lot of stories about how they help to build some features. Many features in Wargaming right now, I think all features in Wargaming right now build based on data, which business intelligence provides. And built on the analysis and reports business intelligence provides to the company. Yes?
Sort of a strange question, but I've noticed also that Wargaming does a lot of videos, some of which don't even necessarily directly go to the game, like there's a whole history series,
Yes.
like learn about this ship and that kind of stuff. Does the data show that that is good for acquisition, or is it mostly about retention?
It's good for, first of all, it was good for acquisition, like at the beginning of Wargaming history, at the beginning of World of Tanks history and World of Warship. Now it's mostly for engagement. It also works really good for building community, like around the game. It's part of entertainment. If you can persuade a person to watch a video of your game, okay, he is not playing your game, but he is watching video. That's it. You created some brand value for your game. Next day, he's gonna discuss this video with some colleague, and he's gonna start playing your game. It's also great for GR, for governmental relationships, especially in Russia. We built a lot of social projects. It helps to keep company from some crazy stuff. Yeah.
Soft bribing.
Yeah, it's not bribery. We just do good stuff. Actually, we help veterans. We help to restore museums, to restore tanks, and it helps to strengthen our brand. You will not see probably like immediate revenue from these activities, but actually you can. We have some videos which sell tanks. So you launch a video about a tank, you describe all advantages and disadvantages of this tank, and you see an increase in revenue from this tank, from the sales of this tank. It's kind of easy and simple. Yes, please.
I was curious, like in your corporate structure, like when you make a product decision about World of Tanks, what percentage of it is driven by game design, and what percentage is driven by product management? Like what is the balance in your corporation?
It depends. It depends on the feature you're talking about. Like the major like big features, it will be 90% of product management, 10% of game design.
So, I worked at Zynga for years.
Uh-huh.
I would think that it was a corporate death caused by over product management and neglect to the customer experience and
Yeah,
the
sometimes
game
we have
design
it.
part of the equation. And is there any, any awareness of that in your corporate structure?
You should understand that when you work in a big company, you're gonna have this. It just happens. I mean, there are people who are important, who like launch World of Tanks, and their decision is more important than the decision of game designer, which is supported by data.
So you're saying in World of Tanks, like the product managers are already top tier in the organization, and
It
game
depends. I'm
designers-
telling. For big features, yes. For some regular stuff, game designers with data lead.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Say you're on a tiny team without access to a big business analysis staff. What would be kind of your words of advice or words of caution? Common mistakes you might see in a project that's early in the life. that might not be at the level where you could hire that kind of staff?
Play other games. Just play games which are successful, and just don't focus on your game. Like, yeah, focus on the game, of course, but don't think that your game is perfect. Always search for some defects, some mistakes that you're making. Always learn for some best practices.
So were there any mistakes early in the process of World of Tanks that you could look back on and say, that almost went bad, I'm glad we, pivot points maybe in the monetization?
We made a lot of mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes, like 8.0 update was a huge mistake, like we lost 15% of our population because of this update, because we increased the requirements for PC.
Okay, so that's helpful.
It's how it happens. You just want to make the game better, you just want to provide great graphics for your game. Players don't want it. Talk to your players, ask them what they really want. They want good balance. For free-to-play games, just if you can make good balance for your game, that's good, but it's impossible because bad balance is also the part of monetization. Many mistakes. I like, and also one mistake that when I received presentation from some indie developers, all of them talking to me about multi-billion audience, multi-billion revenue for their game. For me, it's better to get a presentation which says, man, like 12% of Amazon employees gonna play this game. Great, you know your audience, you're gonna develop a great game for this audience. And it's great because you're small, you're not coming for great bucks, you're like 2-person team, and you're gonna develop a niche game, you're not gonna get competition from any other games, you're gonna be successful. You're gonna, gonna make money. Yeah.
It's a small blue ocean.
Yeah, I mean, finding niches for a game is more important than targeting huge market.
So, yeah, Alex, I wouldn't think that too many indie teams are going to be making multiplayer games at all, or if they are multiplayer, it's not going to be like massively multiplayer or big arena games.
Yes, they don't make multiplayer games, but they just think that their small game is going to capture all the world.
Okay, well, let's say, considering that most of your analysis has been on free-to-play big multiplayer games, how much of this analysis in BI could be applied to, say, a small single-player game?
You don't need a big BI system for small games. For retail titles, you don't need huge BI system. It will be not worse for the company. Because retail titles, pretty simple. You release good game, you invest in marketing. Of course, you need to do some market analysis to understand how to position your game, how to promote it. You need capabilities for them. Maybe need one analyst, good analyst for this, good marketing people, working with analysts. And that's it, you're done. You release the games and you probably will release several DLCs. You also need analysis for this to understand when to release DLC. It's huge. Actually, it's one big story also, how to release DLC, what to include in DLC, how to price it, where to release it. So yeah, then you probably wait some time. You release second DLC, you get big winter sale and summer sale, and then your game is done. That's it. You're gonna continue developing something else. Maybe in 5 years you're gonna make a remaster of your game. So you don't need big BI capabilities like 100 people for a small team. No, you probably need one analyst, maybe two, to support and to make. Also, you need some analysis for game design activities, like if you have problems with balance in your game, you need to understand what kind of problems you have and maybe fix it with an update and fix with DLC or something.
Any more questions for Alex?
Yeah.
Do you have any mechanism to get feedback from users, like a voting mechanism, or how do you collect all the feedback?
So you have pretty old-fashioned forums. People talk on forums. Big developers, of course, have community managers which collect this feedback. Wargaming has a survey team. We have service implemented as a game client. For example, you play the game, it was successful, then you'll get a pop-up and the system asks you, please answer several questions. You don't want to answer? Okay, we'll ask another person. We get feedback from this source too. And yeah, read your data, analyze your data. Also, of course, we do a lot of play testing. So we invite players in our office and they play the game, play some update, and we receive feedback from them. So let's say it's gonna be some public sources like forums, some other hubs, social networks. It's gonna be play tests. It's gonna be internal data like service and actual data. Yeah. For small publishers, I recommend to run play tests all the time. Just invite several people and don't ask many questions then, like when they play, just look how they play, and yeah, just when they finish, ask questions, what they feel about the game. Don't push them to answers which you want to hear. Let them discuss your game, let them think about your game. Because I've noticed many developers during playtests, they seeking for some answer, like, please answer this. And because I made this feature, I want you to notice this feature. It doesn't work this way.
How often do you see a disconnect between users' spoken feedback or forum feedback or whatever, and the data of how it actually works for them? Like how often do you have a player say, I really want this thing, and then find out they really didn't want this thing?
A lot. Yeah, people don't know what they want usually. It's like, this Apple strategy. They do people what they want, but what they need. So yes, it happens a lot. You need to read the feedback. You need to read the feedback. You need to understand it. You need to respond to it. But if you're gonna develop, and you should also remember, we made analysis of about this too. That, like, for example, you're probably talking about forums, like feedback from forums. This is not the majority of your audience. This is the most active, whining audience that we have. And it's like minority. Don't be led by minority. It's you lead your game to the failure.
Yeah, the rule of thumb I always thought of as like only about 8% of any game audience ever uses forums at all.
Yes, that's true. Like 5% probably sits on forums, and it's this 5%. It's like the most active and the most negative.
Yeah. And a negative correlation between who actually monetizes and who posts.
Right. Yes, that's true. That's really true. Like we receive like a lot of feedback. Like, I spent like 1,000 in your game, but you never responded and you never did these features. And we checked the logs. This game, he never spent money.
Right. But it cost them nothing to complain.
Yeah, but they do it a lot. I mean, it's just type of people who complain.
On that note, as far as like dishonesty and stuff, how much of an impact does hacking and stuff take on like monetization?
Say again, what?
How much impact does hacking have on monetization? Like people selling stolen accounts or?
Oh, for big games a lot. The good thing about all the things that you cannot cheat in the client because all the actions happens on the server. So, but you can sell accounts. It's a whole huge industry for all the things, selling accounts. We try to fight against it. Like we ban these people for the life if they notice doing this stuff. We ban several esport teams for making games, for like making the result of the game. But it happens a lot. You just need to sometimes. Sometimes it's better not to spend time fighting it because it's just happening.
Yeah.
Well, I believe we have the room until 9 o'clock, but anyway, round of applause for Alex. Anyone who wants to see him again, this will be up on Capital Factory's Austin Tech Live YouTube channel. So.
Okay, guys, thank you for questions. I think I'll be Some stuff also for anyone who wants, just put it through here.
I wanted to say that.
Still speaks
Anybody who's got
That is the largest independent.
You sound like you're operating the
Those are really good ones. Yeah, I'll be here every single, it happens every 2 months, right? Every month. Oh, every month?
Yeah, we didn't do it last month because that's why we skipped March.
My first day in Austin was your guys' last, no, your last, 2 months ago. When Esteban. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I haven't talked to him since South by, so I have no idea where his mind is at.
He connected with some people at work. Yeah, she did a board game night with him and passed with him. She's still connected with us. Hopefully it went well.
Yeah, since she was here, because my dad, architecture, I've been here 6 months. I took the audience stuff. They don't want me touching anything else. Susie. She was here for that one. We're doing it. Spend a lot of time on it. Get someone to build a server then. Thanks, Jeff. 4 players. That was really interesting.
That was a great talk. I really enjoyed it. You might have met before. It's impressive. You spoke very well.
Yeah, speak full languages.
Now that you have a big believe in yourself that you can make this, you might go south by southwest. Well, I mean, they'll have a few trainers, and you basically have to sign up in advance. It's part of the We've got awesome marketing.
I already had you from yeah, what was the event that yes. I really like your part.
Really what happened
It's really interesting because we had in Austin for one time.
I don't know how far it went, just from the
some Russian tanks. I think we'll do better. Maybe yeah, possibly. Yeah, I'll definitely connect. It's very small percentage. I'm not sure it will grow. Send as many competitors will become the sector, full price will go down. Then I don't promise anything, but that happens everywhere. Every technology is very expensive when it starts. Then the price is increasing.
Yeah, so she's a video game writer.
It's kind of on the ground floor. So I get a lot of experience.
Yes, I'm sorry. Kelsey.
I can spell it for you. Can I? Oh yeah. But I'll share your contact with her tomorrow. So can I leave your email? Yeah, sure. You can just say that you get contact from Alex and Paul. He's Paul. Yeah. So I had a small business last year. It was the only time I've ever done analyst.
She's a editor, creative editor.
She writes a lot of stuff, right? We essentially did the conference kind of thing. 6 hours. Yeah. It's actually a great meetup for like financing that we have. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. We're serious. They just thank you. Nice to meet you. Just so you like we talk about 2 points. I don't know. 2 points all the I really enjoyed one of the few I forced the win. I forced the likes right. It was like so you're getting my stuff. And I don't if I didn't want to writing on it, I had to make it 1 second. Yes, sir. I really appreciate organizing this meeting. Yes. I'm meeting you. Alex told me about this meeting, so come back next month. Absolutely. What is the perspective from these meetings? Well, you're in Austin now. There are lots of people. So looking forward to that. My name is Paul. I can definitely drive safe. Thank
So Kelsey was on there. Here's the thing. If you're going to be a professional writer, you need to have many different
I grew up people yelling at people who are on inspection. Have you used weapon Sorry, I don't have the part. I'm one of those people. I only draw
If somebody would make a game with it, they would have to buy that price.
Tell me if I'm wrong, your job involves a lot of writing.
But it's also not what you, I know like can you figure out like that it was like
This is how it goes, right? This is Austin. Not everyone that you meet is going to be able to help you directly, but at least you get treated like a person. That's not true of everywhere you can be.
Well, super nice to meet you. John,
Yeah. So I put the word out to Elizabeth. Obviously, you guys are really damn busy lately, but
yeah, dude, it's been brutal. I've been so bad about
the thing about it is I really like that talk, and I know it's been done twice with almost no audience.
Well, we need to re-update some stuff too. But you know, yeah, she mentioned wanting to do that again. I'm totally down, of course. So
maybe it's at the end of the year.
Yeah, so we can definitely do one. It's just like basically. Well, 2 titles launching this summer, and then another one should be getting early access in September.
Yeah, I was talking to Alex about it. She gave me a few details about it. Like, there's some things that are like so outside of your control. Like Polish tax laws.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say there's some crazy investment stuff on those guys. So that kind of threw
she's like got boot space plot at a certain location.
Yeah, that's just how it goes. You just have to roll with it.
Well, I mean, how much of it is different based on what Inspire's bread and butter is based, compared to what it's giving its toe in the English publishing. Right. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it's the same thing, but you're talking about something that you've never been marketed before at all.
Yeah, that's the thing we're learning. Learning by doing.
Well, here's the thing that I told her, which she everyone knows, not even Gardens, that I've been approached by a studio here in town that wants to meet as a partner on their game, specifically so I can focus on the marketing. And the good thing about it is that they're not they actually understand things about marketing. And more importantly, and their development costs are covered. They just know they'll need more money to bring it to market.
Right. Yeah, that's not a bad place to be.
I really was just like being myself. I impressed the hell out of it. It's kind of like me and Alex. So. Well, here's birthday boy.
I just want to say thanks for the shout out.
Well, thanks for being a good sport.
Oh yeah, it's all good fun around here. I love coming to these things, and thanks for organizing.
It was just fun. I get to pretend to be a big shot and wear my blazer.
Well, big one-off thing, and
well, this one, yeah, like Gordon wasn't here for back in December. Like basically, you asked half the good questions, and Alex asked the other half. And he put it on his business card. It's like, do you want to talk? And I liked the idea that it wasn't going to be about game day. It's going to be about the stuff that game day knows. It's about like how to bring your shit to market, how you have your success and money. That's kind of important for your enterprise.
I'm Kyle, by the way.
Kyle and Kellen.
Kelly?
Kellen?
Kelly?
Yeah.
You haven't been in Austin for 2 months now?
October, actually. Yeah, so get ready for the summer.
Yeah.
Haven't experienced that yet. Pennsylvania. We've had some 100-degree days in Pennsylvania, but not for like a month straight.
We don't have snow, so you already got through winter.
I'm good with it. I'm so happy. I can't handle like 50 degrees anymore. Okay, so
We were just watching this dude is like, it doesn't cool off like at night in the summertime. That's the weird. That was like the thing that blew my mind. It's like pretty girls at 2 in the morning. Well, cool, man.
yeah, you got these things been
Yeah, I tried to get up, this one like the Indian local
It's another good show. Todd Simmons. That's Todd Simmons. I mean, they're 2 good games in regular speaker series.
Yeah, I mean, this is like super valuable.
Yeah, see, this one and this one down, like Mike's
Someone said there was something going on tomorrow. I need to check the calendar.
It's my show. It's beer night.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.